I thought being a pilot was my true calling, but it was taken away from me in an unreasonable way, leaving me empty. Let's stop thinking about it. I tried to close my eyes, stop thinking, and just fall asleep. But at that moment, boom, there was a tremendous impact, and the entire plane shook violently. Screams erupted from the passengers. "Please, someone help." Amidst the chaos, one flight attendant pleaded for help with a desperate look on her face. "Hey, you all right? What the heck happened?" I demanded answers from her. Little did I know at the time that this action would lead to such a situation. My name is Jack. I used to be a pilot flying around the world. Yay, that's right. Until just a moment ago, that's definitely what I was. Sigh. The sigh that inadvertently escapes makes me sick of myself. How'd things end up like this? Even thinking about it now, I can't accept it. But there was nothing I could do. I clenched the termination notice in my hand, crumpling it. It all started with a certain aviation accident. It happened during a flight one day. That day, I boarded the plane as the captain. "Mornin', Bob. Let's have a good one today." "Yes, I'm counting on you." The co-pilot that day was Bob, my co-worker. He's a rookie pilot who just became a co-pilot, but he's got high expectations from those around him, being the son of the aviation bureau chief and all. I'm thinking of letting Bob take the controls for a bit once things stabilize today. If there's anything you're unsure about, just ask without hesitation. Acting all high and mighty just 'cause you became a captain a bit faster than others. What's that? You say something. No, nothing. Bob seems like an earnest young man at first glance, but he's always muttering stuff under his breath at times, so it's hard to tell what he's thinking. Well, when you're working, it's only natural to have one or two people you don't get along with. I didn't pay much attention to Bob and just focused on my duties. All right, about time to land. Bob, that was pretty good. Oh, thanks. I had been letting Bob take control from time to time to gain experience. Just as that day's flight was about to end safely, boom, the aircraft shook violently with a sound. Damn, a bird strike. I spot a flock of birds in my field of vision. I quickly assess the situation and grip the control stick. Bob, contact the control tower. It's a bird strike. The engines failed. Get instructions on a suitable landing spot. I give instructions, trying to stay calm. Got it. Bob's face turns pale, but he somehow starts moving according to my instructions. It's no surprise. Accidents like this rarely happen. Bob, don't panic. At times like this, you gotta stay calm, take a good look around, and assess the situation. It's gonna be all right. I'll handle the rest. I continue flying the plane while racking my brain to get through this dire situation. It's strange, but at times like this, I naturally know what to do for the best outcome. That said, this time we had no choice but to land the aircraft at an unscheduled airport. Fortunately, there were no injuries, but needless to say, this accident turned into a big deal, and I never imagined that this incident would lead to such a thing. That same day, I compiled an accident report. Thanks to Bob properly following instructions, we kept the damage to a minimum. I appreciate it. Not at all. Well, after submitting the report, we're done for today. Jack. Bob calls out to me. Thinking it's unusual, I turn to face him. What's up? About that report, I'll go submit it. I have business over there anyway. I see. Got it. I'll leave it to you then. Yes, leave it to me. Well then, excuse me. Saying that, Bob leaves. You could say my actions at this time threw everything into disarray. The next day, I found myself being falsely accused. Wait, this must be some mistake. I don't remember submitting a report like this. No one would listen to my desperate plea. The contents of the report I submitted yesterday had been rewritten by someone. According to the fake report, that plane accident was an emergency landing due to my piloting error. I didn't want to think about it, but there's only one person who could have done this. Jack, you're being a sore loser. Why don't you just admit your mistake already? Bob, you. I glare in the direction of the voice. There stands Bob, with a condescending look that couldn't be more obvious. Stunned into silence, Bob quietly approaches me and whispers in my ear. I can care less if you're some genius pilot or not, but you've always been an eyesore. Please disappear from my sight as soon as possible." Muttering that in a low voice, Bob coldly smiles at me. In the end, all my claims were rejected, and I was fired, taking responsibility for the accident. They even took away my pilot's license. Suddenly losing the job I had poured my everything into, I was at a loss. Come to think of it, I hadn't been back home in a while. My parents suddenly crossed my mind. Maybe I should go back for a bit. Even in this situation, it might be a good opportunity if I think positively. I take out my cell phone and decide to call my parents' house. "Hello, this is the Hidaka residence." After a few rings, my mom answers the phone. "Mom, it's Jack." "Oh, Jack. It's been a while. What's up?" "Sorry for the short notice, but I was thinking of dropping by." "Oh, really? What is it?" "Jack, are you gonna introduce us to your girlfriend?" "Haha, unfortunately not." "Sorry, Mom. I just felt like coming home for a bit." "I see. Okay. Oh, Jack, wait a sec. Your dad wants to talk too." After a short pause, I hear my dad's voice from the other end of the line. "That you, Jack?" "Yeah, Dad. Long time no see. You're coming back home." "Yeah." "What, you bringing a wife with you?" "No way." "Haha, both you and Mom are harping on the same thing." I can't help but laugh. Maybe Dad and Mom sensed that I wasn't my usual cheerful self. "Well, anyway, if you're coming back here, you can take it easy for a while, right? Stay as long as you need to." "Thanks, Dad." "Yeah, say hi to Mom for me." I hang up and take a deep breath. Haven't heard Dad and Mom's voices in a long time. I feel a gradual warmth spreading in my chest. All right, time to head back. For now, I'll just go home without thinking about anything. With that decision, I immediately book a plane ticket. A few days later, I board the plane I reserved to go back to my hometown. Here's my seat. I find my seat and sit down. Even though I should be used to planes, just sitting in a different spot feels strange. Can I never go back to being a pilot? Thinking about it again, a fear-like emotion wells up inside me. At the same time, I lament in my heart, wondering how things ended up like this. I thought being a pilot was my true calling, but it was taken away from me in an unreasonable way, leaving me empty. No, let's stop thinking about it. It's too late to regret it now. I tell myself there's nothing I can do about it anymore. Being a passenger might not be so bad. I peer out the small window of the plane. The plane is just leaving the ground, rapidly gaining altitude. As I gaze at the receding land, I doze off. That's when it happened. With a tremendous impact, the entire plane shakes violently. Screams erupt from the passengers. What the? I'm instantly wide awake. I look out the window. What enters my sight is a flock of birds. It's the same as that time. What are the odds of this happening? I never thought I'd encountered this twice in such a short span of time. It's a bird strike. As I ponder if the aircraft and pilots are all right, the entire plane tilts sharply and the passengers' screams grow louder. This is bad. The plane is in utter chaos. Some people try to stand up forcibly, while others curl up and wail. I'm thinking if there's anything I can do when. Please, someone help. Amidst the chaos, one flight attendant pleads for help with a desperate look on her face. Hey, you all right? Unable to just stand by, I question her intently. What the heck happened? Lure. I'm a pilot. Anything I can do to help? Really? Please help. The captain lost consciousness from that impact just now. The captain did. What about the co-pilot? When I ask that, she shows a gloomy expression. Well, today's co-pilot is a rookie, and whoa. The plane shakes violently again. While supporting the flight attendant who lost her balance, I somehow managed to stand up. Can't just stay here. Please, come with me. Okay. I head to the cockpit, accompanied by the female flight attendant. We run through the long, heavily shaking cabin aisle and somehow make it to the cockpit. You guys okay? Huh? Who are you? Calm down. I may not look it, but I'm a former captain. Keep your hands on the controls. I'll take over for you now. As I heard, the co-pilot is a young man. While reassuring him as he panics with teary eyes, I first check on the captain who's unconscious in the pilot's seat. All right, he's got a pulse and he's breathing. The captain's life doesn't seem to be in danger. After confirming that, I call out to the young co-pilot. Switch with me. Contact air traffic control. Request an emergency landing. Can you do that? Yes, sir. I grip the control stick, taking over for the co-pilot. The control stick, which I thought I'd never touch again, fits comfortably in my hands. It's gonna be all right. I'll definitely save you. I lied about being a pilot, even though I don't have that qualification anymore. But I can't just abandon them. I've come back here now to save the people in front of me. Emergency landing permission granted. Got it. Hey you, please make an announcement to the passengers. We're gonna prepare for landing now. Yes, sir. Gradually, the aircraft starts moving the way I want it to. I aim for the approved runway and begin preparations for landing. To be honest, I don't remember much of what happened after that. I was totally in the zone. The moment the plane touched down on the runway and came to a stop, a huge cheer and applause erupted from the passengers on board. Phew, that was a bit nerve-wracking, even for me. I release my grip on the control stick. The shirt I'm wearing is completely drenched in sweat. The plane managed to land safely somehow. Fortunately, there were no injured passengers. After evacuating the passengers and handing the injured captain over to an ambulance, I could finally catch my breath. It's over, somehow. Excuse me. I turn around at the voice calling from behind me. There stand a female flight attendant from earlier, and the young co-pilot. Oh, you two from before. Yes. Thank you so much. Thanks to you, all the passengers, the captain, and my brother and I were saved. Huh? Brother? Yes, that's me. I'm Brandon. Oh, I should have introduced myself earlier. As he speaks, the co-pilot holds out his business card to me. I'm his older sister, Brianna. Thank you so much. May I ask your name? I hesitate as I accept their business cards. The two of them are essentially my former colleagues. If I give my name, it might lead to some troublesome matters. As I'm torn over whether to give my name or not, Brandon stares intently at my face and then lets out a gasp as if he's realized something. Sorry if I'm wrong, but you are Jack, right? Huh? Oh, what? You knew. I knew it. I'm actually a big fan of yours, Jack. I've always looked up to you. My dream is to become a pilot like you someday. I have the utmost respect for you. Haha, is that so? Thanks. But if you know me, then you must know, right? I'm not. Jack. Brandon starts to say something with a slightly sad look, then glances at his sister Brianna beside him, and they give each other a small nod. Jack, there's something we'd like to report to you. What is it? Did something happen? Yes, actually, ever since you disappeared from the airline, there's been a bit of an uproar among our colleagues. A bit of an uproar. There are rumors going around that you might have been set up by someone. I still can't believe it, that you, Jack, made a piloting error. That's... Excuse me for interrupting your conversation. At that moment, a man calls out to us from a short distance away. When I look up to see what's going on, the man approaches us while showing his police badge. Then, after intently looking at each of our faces in turn, the man turns to face me as if he's picked his target. You're Jack, right? Yes. I'm Davis. Mind if we have a little chat? The police officer who introduced himself as Davis had the air of a friendly middle-aged man. Still, I nod at him while staying a bit cautious. All right. Thanks for your cooperation. It's nothing much. Just gonna ask a bit about what happened on the plane earlier. And I'd like to ask you two as well, Miss Brianna and Brandon. Okay. Understood. Thanks. Well then, let's get right to it. With that, Mr. Davis starts asking us for details about what happened on that plane. After we finish explaining everything, he nods and tilts his head, saying, There's one thing I'd like to confirm. Jack, your current job is... I'm terribly sorry. It's true that I used to be a pilot, but my license has been revoked. I'm not allowed to fly planes anymore. There's no point in lying. I decide to come clean about everything. Jack, may I say something? Beside Brianna, who's looking at me with concern, Brandon hardly raises his voice. About the earlier accident, if Jack hadn't taken over the controls, there's a high chance we would have crashed. It's because I was so incompetent. If you're going to say that, then I'm also at fault. As a passenger on the plane, I asked Jack for help. He simply responded to my request. Brianna follows up by saying that Jack did nothing wrong. If Jack hadn't been there, if he hadn't flown the plane, who knows what would have happened to the passengers and us by now. All right, I get it. You two, just calm down a bit. Mr. Davis tries to calm us down, looking a bit troubled. Then, making a gesture as if considering something, he opens his mouth. I agree with what you're saying. It wouldn't make sense for Jack to be punished. It was an emergency situation involving human lives. You don't need to worry about that. I'll figure something out. Really. Thank you so much. But there's just one thing that's been bugging me. As he speaks, Mr. Davis steals a glance at me. Why was a pilot as skilled as Jack stripped of his license? That's... Hesitating a bit, I look over at Brandon and Brianna. The two of them are nodding, as if they've made up their minds about something. I nod back at them slightly, then turn to face Mr. Davis. Mr. Davis, would it be all right if I talk to you for a bit? I decide to tell Mr. Davis about that accident. I confess everything to Mr. Davis about the accident at that time and the incident with the report that occurred afterwards. And so, the contents of the report I wrote were tampered with. I see. Well, there's darkness in the upper ranks no matter where you go. Mr. Davis, who silently listened to my story until the end, furrows his brow with a difficult expression. Brandon and Brianna press Mr. Davis, clinging to him. I knew it. Those rumors were true. Mr. Davis, can the police just ignore this? Mr. Davis, is it possible to investigate this matter? Hard to say. It gets pretty tricky when higher-ups are involved. Judging from Mr. Davis's reaction, it might indeed be dangerous to dig deeper into this matter. I hold up my hand in front of Brandon and Brianna, stopping them. You two, don't worry about me anymore. But Mr. Davis, please do what you can. I hope the police can keep an eye out to prevent such things from happening again in the future. No, wait a sec, Jack. This time, Mr. Davis thrusts out his arm, interrupting my words. And just like that, Mr. Davis nods deeply, as if he's made a decision. Jack, regarding this matter, I promise to cooperate as much as I can. But I'll need your cooperation for questioning and providing information. Of course, you two as well. As he speaks, Mr. Davis laughs a bit jokingly. After that, it seems Mr. Davis actively investigated that accident as promised. Proof of that is how I, as someone involved at the scene, was questioned by various people in different positions, one after another. As I've said from the beginning, that accident wasn't due to an operational error, but a bird strike. I recorded it as such in the report, but how many times have I given this testimony? I got fed up with it towards the end, but I endured it, telling myself it's all thanks to Mr. Davis's hard work. And finally, my claim was acknowledged, and it came to light that Bob, who was the co-pilot at the time, had manipulated information, leading to his dismissal. And so, I was allowed to return as a pilot without issue. That night, I was invited out for a drink by Mr. Davis. At a casual pub, I down a frosty mug of beer. Victory beer really hits the spot. It sure does. Mr. Davis's beaming smile says it all. He must have gone through a lot of trouble for me this time. Mr. Davis, I'm sorry. It must have been tough to uncover the truth to that extent. No, you don't need to apologize, Jack. More importantly, I heard you're going back to work. Congrats. You really hung in there. The questioning was persistent, wasn't it? Good job. It's all thanks to you, Mr. Davis. I truly appreciate it. Don't mention it. I'm really glad we could save you this time. Wondering what he means, I look at Mr. Davis's face. He had a nostalgic expression, as if gazing somewhere far away. Then, after taking another slow sip of beer, Mr. Davis begins to speak, bit by bit. It's an old story, but I had a subordinate I was particularly fond of. He was skilled and straightforward, just like you. What happened to him? He quit. He was made to take responsibility for something he had no recollection of, just like you. No way. At that time, I couldn't protect him. As long as you're in an organization, you can't go against orders from above. I still regret what happened back then. Mr. Davis finishes the remaining beer in his mug and turns to face me. It seems I was projecting him onto you. That's why I wanted to help you this time. Sorry, was it a bother? Not at all. I see. That's good then. Mr. Davis grins, and I notice beer foam on the corner of his mouth, making me let out a small chuckle. Mr. Davis, you've got foam on your face. Haha, my bad. You're still drinking, right? Excuse me, could we get another round of beer, please? Mr. Davis calls out in high spirits. That day, I drank and enjoyed myself to my heart's content with Mr. Davis. It was a while after everything was settled that I finally regained my peace of mind. In the end, I didn't really get to relax much. After that, I went back home as planned, but I couldn't stay for very long. My parents seemed disappointed, saying you should take it easy and stay longer, but I couldn't afford to do that. All right, time to go. Today is my first flight since returning to work. I head to the airport, pumped up and ready to go. In the meeting room, I see Brandon, the co-pilot who'll be my partner today. And next to him is Brianna. The two of them spot me and nod slightly in unison. Good morning, Jack. Good morning. Yeah, mornin'. Let's have a good one today, you two. Brandon and Brianna are both on my team for today's flight. Perhaps because of what happened, I already feel a sense of camaraderie with these two. Jack, thank you so much for the other day. No, I'm the one who should be thanking you. You two gave a lot of testimony to the police afterwards, right? It's thanks to that I was able to come back like this. I'm grateful. Thanks. If we were able to help you, Jack, then we're happy too. Right, sis? Yes, that's right. Seeing their smiles puts me at ease. It makes me feel like I'm being forgiven for doing the right thing by taking action back then. Jack, you have a meeting with this kid now, right? I should head to my own station, so please excuse me. Yeah, see you later. Brianna leaves the meeting room gracefully. As I'm absent-mindedly seeing her off, I notice Brandon beside me, grinning suspiciously, and I turn to him. What's up? Something wrong? Jack, this is just between us, but my sister, despite how she looks, was really happy about being with you today. Oh, of course I was too. Haha, is that so? I'm glad to be with you too as well. Jack, what is it? Don't people often say you're dense? Huh? About what? Oh, nothing. My sister's gonna have a tough time. Brandon says that in an amused tone and laughs. I'm not really sure what he means, but it doesn't seem to be anything bad. Come on, let's start the meeting. I open my tablet and prompt Brandon. Some time has passed since I returned to work as a pilot. Since then, I've been spending a lot of time with Brianna and Brandon outside of work too. Today, we've made plans to have a meal together after the flight. After finishing work and taking a shower, I head to the restaurant where we're meeting. It seems Brianna and Brandon have already arrived and are sitting at a table waiting for me. Jack, over here. Sorry to keep you waiting. It's all right. We just got here too. Jack, what would you like to drink? Oh, thanks. What should I get? I peer at the menu Brianna shows me from beside her. Brandon, who's sitting across from us, is once again grinning suspiciously as he watches us. What's up? Something wrong? No, it's just that seeing you two side by side like that, you look like a married couple. Hey, Brandon, what are you saying? He's right. Brianna is pretty and has a great personality. There's no need for her to choose a guy like me. Right, Brianna? Huh? Well, that's... Geez, sis, you gotta be more assertive in this situation. Guess it can't be helped. Muttering something, Brandon searches his breast pocket. Jack, would you mind taking these? What's this? Movie tickets. Yes. They were given to me, but I have a flight scheduled on that day. You're off that day, right, Jack? Yeah, I am. That's great then. There are 2 tickets, so I was thinking you could invite someone to go watch it with you. Oh, sis. Aren't you off that day too? Huh? Oh, yeah, I am. Then it's settled. Jack, please go with my sister. Saying that, Brandon hands me the movie tickets. Brianna, are you sure? Don't you want to invite any other friends? Yes. I want to go with you, Jack. Is that so? Then let's go together. Thanks, Brandon. You're very welcome. Have fun. You get it right, sis. Yeah. What's wrong, Brianna? Your face is red. You okay? I'm fine. Anyway, Jack, have you decided on your drink? Let's order quickly. Oh, right. Urged by Brianna, who seems flustered for some reason. I choose from the menu. Brandon watches us and laughs. The story of how I start dating Brianna after she confesses to me later on is a tale for another time.